Life outside the garden. Do you remember why God's people had to leave God's place? God drove Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden because they disobeyed him and rejected him as king. Everything God had warned them about disobeying his word came true. There they go. They got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. They have to leave. Adam and Eve were now separated from God. They began having difficulties with one another. Raising children was hard, finding food was harder, and their coming death was beginning to make their bodies grow old. Life outside the garden was terrible. Now Adam and Eve ruled the world in evil ways, and they had children who did the same. Their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren all turned away from God. Look, there's fire. Someone is stealing. This person is hungry. This man is trying to keep an angry dog from him. The whole world is broken. This person is worshiping an idol. Outside the garden, everyone doubted how good God was. Outside the garden, everyone disobeyed God's word. Outside the garden, everyone ruled the world in evil ways. This made God very sad. All the peoples of the earth had rejected him as king. So, what will he have to do? God decided to judge all the people of the earth. He decided to send a big flood on the place he had made. But there was one man named Noah who listened to God. God told Noah to build a great big boat. God told Noah to put many animals on the boat. God told Noah to bring his family on the boat. And Noah did what God said. Here come the animals. Come into the big boat. Come into the ark. That's the fancy word we use to describe it. Then God judged the world. God sent a big flood of water. Everything that lived on land died. But Noah and his family and the animals on the boat were saved. Do you know what the flood teaches us? God will judge every single person who rejects him as the king. And do you know what God's judgment teaches us? Every person needs God's blessing. The world was not okay on its own. Here they are. They landed the boat after the storms ended after 40 days. And God gave his blessing and a promise and a rainbow of peace. And guess what? God promised to do it. God promised to bless all the people of the earth. And there is our story on Monday, part 4, God's big promise. So God had to punish sin. He couldn't let the people continue fighting each other and hurting each other. He couldn't let it go on that way. So he caused the great flood as a judgment. But he saved Noah and his family because God loved the people that he made. And he has a big promise that he's making to rescue them once and for all. All right, so the big promise will be on Monday around 3 o'clock. I'll see you then.